Going live for a second time. So hello, everybody. Hey, welcome to another client spotlight with my brother, Greg McDaniel. He is the original beta tester, beta user, alpha tester. Basically, he's tried everything that Likely AI's built, tried, thought about, conceived over the last 3-4 years. So if you're looking for a source of knowledge, we brought him on the show because currently he's been trying, all different things. What he's doing right now, he's crushing with. So Greg, welcome to a client spotlight. Thank you for your time today. And why don't you introduce yourself a little bit to the rest of the clients that don't know you?
Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, not a problem. No, Brad and I have been brothers literally since birth. So, I mean, it's one of those things that kind of binds us together.
A couple of years.
Just a couple, 6 months. But, one of the things that when it comes to Likely.ai and predictive analytics is to the fact that, I was the original boots on ground. Seriously, I was the only guy that was taking a sheet out to the street and saying, hit this house, not that house, hit this house, not that house, skip this house, skip that house, skip this house, get this house. And I saw an incredible, evolution. It just came to life in front of me in regards to just what Likely can do for you. I've been in the business for 21, almost 22 years. I've been working in the luxury market here in San Francisco, Bay Area marketplace. We do thousands of deals. I have done thousands of deals, and we just love to analyze what's happening. And we use Likely on a high level to really kind of go from shotgun to sniper in a very short amount of time. Both with your database and my database, and then also with your marketplace. So
let's back up for a second because I love where you're going, but I want to make sure everyone's kind of following the bounce ball as we go. So back when you first started, I think we gave you literally a CSV print off, and this goes back 2007, and so you went. And you said, I remember you came back and you were like, man, I was knocking doors and it was the weirdest thing. I'm supposed to knock on that door, then cross the street, go down a couple houses, then knock on that door. And you said it was so weird to do, but the results you started to see what?
It was absolutely insane. I was in a country club called Round Hill Country Club here in Alamo. And
that's Alamo, California?
Alamo, California, yes, okay. Correct. And I was following the list, and I'm like, okay, sure. So I'm going to knock on this door, and then that door, and another door, and everything else. And I'm like, this is nuts, so pants.
Dude, what do you say when you knock on a door? Hi, AI company told me to talk to you?
No, what I say to them is very simple. It's like, hey, my name is Greg McDaniel. I'm at ABC Real Estate, and just wondering if you guys are thinking about selling. And so with that script, there's multiple levels when it comes to doing this, right? So you do your entry level. So it's like, hey, I'm Greg McDaniel with EXP or ABC Real Estate, and are you guys thinking about selling? Yes, no. Do you have answers for that? Do you know anybody around your neighborhood that you're thinking about selling? No, yes. Do you really want me to go down the rabbit?
No, definitely not. Basically the major thing, any type of little knowledge bombs, of course, but the primary thing is a lot of our clients sometimes go, what do I say when I go to the door? What do I put in that letter? I don't want to creep them out, but at the same time, I know they're in a moment of change. So how do I get their attention and be persistently engaged until they tell me to come by and have a living room conversation? And since you've literally tried door knocking, calling with beers, all the other things, all the other fun things you've done, you have more knowledge on how do you break that moment of why the hell are you calling me, kind of question. I remember you told me one story about a guy who said it was kind of gave you a weird look, and then you followed up and saw this house listed a week later. Was that last year or maybe right before COVID hit, something like that?
Yeah, that was a little bit back, but yeah, when it comes to the conversation, when you talk to people using this list, you don't say like, "Hey, I know you're thinking about selling." That's not the way you approach it.
Yeah.
You go in there and you use just like you want to build a relationship with the people that you're going to be talking with. So it's like, "Hey, my name is Greg McDaniel, ABC Real Estate. Thank you so much for taking your time. Have you guys thought about making a move? Oh, you have. Oh, fantastic. Is it going to be in town or out of town?" And then you talk about the different areas, like what if it's going to be out of town, is it going to be like, are you going to go to Wyoming? You're going to go to Alaska? You're going to go to Maine? You're going to go to Texas? I mean, where are you thinking about going? Oh, you're going to be in town. Okay, great. What part of town are you guys thinking about making a move?
Got it. So basically, get them talking. Start to try to build a relationship. Don't go for the hard sell.
Well,
Like
never.
if they're-
I mean, everybody's favorite topic is themselves. So let them talk about themselves at every single point that you possibly can, and then draw out pieces of content. There's a great book called Never Split the Difference by Chris Sims. Anyways.
the FBI negotiator, right?
Yeah. But what he says in that book is that you always repeat the last 1 to 3 words that somebody says. That will allow them to feel that they're heard and understood. Once they get that going, then you get going on the different kind of conversations that are going to fly around that, but allow them to be heard. And that is what I've done in my business to be incredibly powerful.
Incredibly powerful.
And you just
there it is. So have you any like crazy stories, like experiences on a phone call or door knocking or maybe in text messaging, like anything that kind of stood out was like, all right, that was a pretty cool experience, when pairing whatever marketing channel you were using, with technology that's supposed to give you that insight, that step ahead.
You want funny stories, or do you just want to talk about technology?
Like using likely, predictions, anything that stands out, like, dude, there was this time when blah, blah, blah. And it was like a funny, cool story, interesting story, something that stood out to you, man.
Yeah, not a problem. There was a gal I was doing some calls with, and when she called and set an appointment for me, the individual at the other end of the line, I've never met her, never seen her, anything else. And using Likely, and I used a different company that would then do the marketing for me. We set a $1.8 million listing appointment based upon the fact of your analytics. So the conversation went like this. Hi, this is Greg McDaniel with eXp Realty. How are you? Oh, hi, Greg. Your assistant reached out to me, and yes, we are thinking about selling. I didn't had to ask. It was there. And so we listed the property and we helped her sell it. And it was all because of just purely the data that you guys provide. And I was blown away because we only loaded 128 people into this program. And so based upon kind of the setup and everything else, dude, with your data, with this other company that I'm using, it was a knockout of the park success.
That's awesome.
It was brilliant. And the every other conversation that I have, and guys, you can call me and text me, email me, Facebook me, whatever else. If you want to see if I'm full of, what, I'm not. These are some really incredible stories I can share with you, but that's only one because I know this is Brad's show.
No, I love hearing them. Like, you can tell any story you want. I mean, like, do you have any, what are you doing now? Like, what is that still what you're doing? Like what you were just talking about? Like what do you do right now? What are you finding success with?
So one of the things that we're doing a lot is geofencing. Can I talk about the other company that I'm?
Oh yeah, of course.
So I use Clever Lead, spelled with a K, and with Clever, what we do is we're, like I said, geofencing. A lot of people don't know what geofencing is. It's basically a invisible fence that we can put around any location geographically. So it can be a house, it can be a business, it can be a neighborhood, it could be a county, it could be a city, it could be a state. It really doesn't matter. But to the fact is that we can push any message out to them. And we did a push out to, with using Likely's information. We pushed out to 1,414 people. We had 811 people come back to our sticky website where we've been in communication with them and building a relationship with them. So with that being said, if you guys can have a database of any amount, doesn't matter, it's going to be an incredible response. Again, from the beginning of this conversation, we went from shotgun to sniper. So we became snipers, not just out there just blasting, shotguns off and trying to hit everything that we can. Using this data has saved us a ton of time. Here's a funny story about this. So Brad and his team went and ran a analysis on my database, and it came back to me, and I was absolutely astonished about what it came back. We came back with my parents, or our parents, next door neighbor, down the street neighbor, and then another one of our past clients on the top tier of who's going to be most likely to sell. Now, this is the weird part. This is when it gets really strange. The person that I did not expect to be on that list was my best friend, Lonnie. And Brad, it was Lonnie's.
Shotwell?
Yeah, Lonnie Shotwell.
No way. Okay.
Yeah. So I call Lonnie up, and I'm like, I call him Lawn Dog. I'm like, dude, Lawn Dog, are your parents thinking about selling? He's like, yeah, they've been talking about it. And so
what?
Yeah, no, they actually sold the house. That's not a joke.
All right. So for everyone else that's listening, like Mr. Shotwell, like coached me in soccer when I was 8 years old. We knew these two brothers really well, like forever. I did not know that the Shotwell's house was on Likely Seller prediction file.
Yeah.
What? When was this?
It happened a couple of months ago.
Huh.
Dude, they sold and they moved out of state. But I mean, the thing is, when the validation with what you're producing is that like the people around you are going to astound you in regards to what their motivations are, because I had no idea. I mean, Lonnie moved up to Marin with his wife and 2 kiddos, and his parents are moving out of state. But I've known them for 35 plus years.
How old are you? Jeez.
I know. I'm old.
You show it in the beard well.
Hey, this is knowledge, my friend. This is
all right. Wait, so how would you, like, given that scenario, because that is, I think, an awesome story. How would you, if you had to do it again, let's just say you had another best friend, and they were on the next, Likely Seller audience that we delivered to you, how would you approach them?
Just go direct. I mean, literally be like, hey, how are you? What's going on? Want to grab a cup of coffee? Want to, get a beer? Want to do something? You reestablish that the relationship, and just talk to them like a human being. A lot of people have lost that ability because of the fact of COVID and everything else. They don't want to talk with their other human beings. But just be aggressive and just say, hi, how are you? What's going on? What's new in your life? What are your plans? It's the whole forward conversation. It's
sure.
Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. And so get into their lives, ask questions. Like I said earlier, everybody's favorite conversation is themselves. So let them talk.
Interesting. So, I mean, you're saying don't creep them out. Don't use any type of, hey, I was told to call you. Just be yourself. These are people that since this was a database we ran, we refreshed for you. And when you reached out, rather than saying, hey, someone told me to do this, it's more like, hey, man, we haven't talked in a little while. I know life, you got kids and whatnot. Like, dude, how's things, man? Is life going well? Any plans or big changes? And it's kind of like that type of soft approach, but kind of reinserting yourself.
So if I came to you and your beautiful wife, Mandy, and your incredible kiddos, right? And if I came to you and you didn't know me, and I said, hey, Brad, my name's Greg. I was told to call you because of blank. You'd be like, go blank blank yourself, right? But if I said this, hey, Brad, my name's Greg. I'm with ABC Real Estate here in the area. I'm just calling around. I understand blank is happening in your life. I wanted to see how I could assist you. Is there an opportunity you and I could have, maybe 5 minutes or less to have a conversation to see if maybe if I might be the right person to help you and you might be the right person that I could help. And then at that point, you take all the stress off because all of a sudden they are perceptibly in control because you let them feel they're in control. At the exact same time, you're controlling the conversation because you're leading them. They're following, you're leading. And you take them down that path. It's a bigger conversation that can be had on this podcast, and I think it needs to go deeper because there's so many nuances in regards to how this can take place, and it's literally a ninja level status when you can actually master this. But when you do this and you have these conversations with these folks that are having a problem in their lives, and you're empathetic to what's going on with them, and then you give them a way out of what's going on. I had a client, his name was Roland. His wife is married. This was 2 years ago. It was a $2.1 million listing, and I honestly.
So a bad neighborhood. Got it.
Yeah, horrible neighborhood. Yeah, just gang ridden like you.
Oh man, I tell you, those golf carts.
Jesus. But I put him in contact with 3 different lenders to try to keep him in his house, like refinancing and everything else. We couldn't do it, so we figured a way out for him. We fronted him $10,000 and we fixed his house up, and it's a long story. But the thing is that the empathy that we paid forward not only got us that one deal, we also helped them buy another home, helped them sell his investment property, buy another investment property, purely based upon that. So when it comes to your data and everything else, what likely is putting out there, it's identifying the conversation you need to have the conversation, not do the hard close. Try to do everything you can to help these folks, and people will repay you in spades.
So be a good person, understand that they're in a moment of change, and build the relationship. Take that opportunity to build a relationship to hopefully help them with a real estate transaction, if not that way, in some other way, if you're taking kind of the positive track to this. Is that right?
Yeah. Do everything you can possibly do to help another human being, 100%.
So what are you doing today? Like, what are you doing right now to reach out to likely sellers? I know you've used both our database refresh and you get likely seller updated monthly files. What is it that you're doing right now that you would say to anyone that asked you, hey, you got to try this? Or would you? Like, guys, he's my brother, but he doesn't endorse me. He loves to try our thumbs or whatever we come up with. For years, literally years, he was like, yeah, it's pretty good. And then it started to actually do something. And that's why I said, hey, dude, come on and talk to everybody, talk to the folks about what you would recommend. So if another agent or another broker, came to you and said, hey, can I do this to build teams? Can I use this to get sellers in this tight market? Can I get this? Can I use this to get buyers? Do I use this to help with my lender? Does my lender help with it? All those questions, that kind of happen around sourcing deals. Like, what would you tell them to do? What would you tell them to do?
Okay, not a problem. What I would say to do, I would say to go to likely.ai /refresh, update your database up into their server. They're not going to take it because they already own it. They already have 3,000 to 5,000 data points on all of you guys and me and everybody else. So they
We
don't
do.
need, but you know what? Go in there and analyze your database, see where you can spend the most time with the best people. At that point, I would take that over to Clever Leads, spelled with a K, speak with Jake, one of his assistants, which I've done personally, and then figure out a marketing plan where you can stay consistently and persistently in touch with them on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. There's a lot of stuff they're building over there, and just be the person that doesn't not be the person that doesn't evaporate in their ecosystem. A lot of real estate agents, people think that real estate agents are the people who drink champagne, eat caviar at lunch.
You're not? What?
I skipped it today.
Okay, well, thank you.
I'm on a diet. I have a photo shoot tomorrow, so I can't do that.
Bikini season. Get it? Okay, got it.
My girlfriend just pipes in. She's like, "What do you mean hot dogs?"
Chili dogs. Get it right. Come on.
Ass off over.
All right, so you had success with the database refresh, and that's great. And I think you made a good point, because we're not trying to sell you guys on the products today. We want to literally share a spotlight of someone who's using our products. But the point about us not trying to steal your data is very, very valid. You drag, drop it, we do it, drop it back to you. We get a text when it's ready, and we give you a nice little report card. So, hey, if it looks like it's a great audience for you to buy, then by all means, please purchase it. We'd love you to work with you. But the reason for this report card is also to show you that, hey, this is not something we would recommend you spend your money on. That's just kills our net promoter score if we're trying to just sling whatever we can. We want to provide high quality intelligence to agents, teams, lenders, brokerages who are growing their business, and even real estate investors that have a buy box. So thank you, Greg, for saying that, because we definitely do not want to try to grab your data. It's not a data play for us. It's a helpful intelligence push play. So it's free to get that report. Come and drop and try it. If it's great, if you got questions, my team's here. They're awesome. They'll help you out. But so you would go and do the database refresh to start, then go work with Jake or Joe, one of the guys over at Clever Leads, and say, hey man, like I need, when you found successes, when you went over to them and said, hey, I've got so much going on that I can't do everything myself. I need some help. And hey, can you have someone help me qualify likely sellers, so that way I can show up for appointments. I can show up for a listing appointment. I can show up for the phone call that screens me before I come. Like I can show up for that Zoom call, whatever it is, basically set you up so you don't have to do some of that initial legwork. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%. It depends on your budget. If you buy the top project, a top product for Clever, it's like $1,800. It's not a lot, but you also get a full-time employee, a VA, that will do all the follow work and everything else. So when Brad at Likely and his team get all your data, now it's not just your database, but it's also going to be anything you want to analyze, right? You bring it over to them, they do all the marketing for you, then they literally drop leads into your database, into your calendar. My girl Karen, she crushes it. My calendar is full with video conferences and everything else. Then I filter those down to actual appointments. And these people, the conversations aren't like, I don't want to sell. It's more like, yeah, we want to sell, and these are our terms. So utilizing these two companies, again, I have no stake in either one of them. Brad doesn't pay me, Jake doesn't pay me, but with using this stuff, it's being a sniper, like I said earlier in this interview. And when you do that, guys, stop talking to people that don't want to sell. Start talking to the people that do want to sell, and then have those conversations that are meaningful and impactful for the people that you're going to be talking with. It's a different way of doing business, and what Brad's doing is just unbelievable.
So do you use it at all to build your EXP team or anything else?
Yeah.
I know sometimes we've got a lot of people that have been using it for different ways than we initially thought people, agents, lenders, investors would want to use it. I know that, you've got a lot of people on your down. I just wasn't sure if you ever used it in that manner at all.
Yeah, we have been. We're starting up with that right now, 100%. Jake over at Clever, he and I have been working together. He has about 100,000 different real estate agents in his queue, and so he and I are going to start launching bombs out to people with specific messages, talking about kind of exactly what we're talking about here. But yes, it's an incredibly powerful tool.
So if I've heard you right, I want to try to follow. I'm kind of bring this all together and make sure that I've got the pieces right. Is that when you leverage likely sellers, is you use two marketing channels. You use geo addressable as kind of your branding channel, kind of brand awareness, whatnot. Thank God you're outside of Facebook, because who knows if they're going to approve your ads today. And then when they respond to that geo addressable ad, you drop them onto a site and follow up with a text, and Karen gets engaged at that point to take them from an interested party to an appointment for you on a Zoom call and potentially a listing. Did I track that correctly?
Yeah, true. So we take it from you to Clever. Then you build out whatever plan you want. We do text, email, phone calls,
and email. Okay, you do all of those. Okay.
Fencing. And a couple, and then obviously mailers. So there's a lot of stuff that we're doing to all these specific people, and the responses are literally through the roof. And when you work with Clever and you work with Likely, we are developing, and we have developed a moving company. So we've now been able to market to the fact that we can move someone anywhere in the lower 48 states at basically a zero cost basis. So it's like a referral, cost for all of us agents. Because we take off the 70% that the markup is for all those big moving companies. And we just signed a contract with 300 independent contractors at Salt Lake City. So
wow,
when you can market that, I have not even done that. It just happened. And we are already getting referrals. It's people are like, oh my gosh, like you'll move me for free. I'm like, well, yeah. Do you want a barbecue, or do you want me to move you? And they're like, move me, because
move me.
But the guy who started, he's out of Las Vegas, like I said. His wife, at that point, was a real estate agent. He was about 6 beers into a 12-pack, and his wife was talking to an agent. He said, darling, if they list or sell with you, I'll move them for free. And so,
how great ideas are born. 6 beers in and a nice little slur. Perfect.
But
must be Irish. It's good.
They got to they were moving 150 homes a month.
It's a lot.
In the early 2000s, prior to 2008. And then of course it crashed, but the method works, and people are like, I have conversations with people all the time going like, hey man, I'll move you for free if you list with me. So
sorry, please keep going.
I was just gonna say, people just lose their minds. Like, are you for real? I'm like, yeah, not a problem. Let's do it. And
I bet you that's pretty popular right now, with everyone kind of doing that reverse migration pattern, right? Kind of out of dense to rural. I'm sure eventually it'll go back the other way, but if you can catch them going both ways, you're even better, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, so I know we get a lot of questions about, from inbound agents, brokerages, and investors that are always going, hey, how do I, work with innovative agents, right? Like especially lenders are asking that question a lot. You obviously are doing that. And so if other agents want to work with you, kind of learn from what you're doing, how would they find you and ask about, I don't know, either joining EXP or your team, or I don't know, just get a call with you to brainstorm ideas? Like, how do people get in touch with you?
It's incredibly simple, guys. There's 3 different ways. You can either call or text me at 925 925 915 1978. My personal cell phone. I kind of pay the cell phone bill. We'll see what happens when you call me. But or
was that a 555 something or
yeah. That's the number. Or go to my Facebook or Instagram. So Facebook is going to be Greg McDaniel. I'm going to be the crazy white guy with glasses and dark hair. Go to Instagram. It's going to be Greg McDaniel, REU for Real Estate Uncensored. That's my podcast. And kind of DM me there and let's have a conversation. Super simple.
All right, I love it, man. I love it. Well, guys, please reach out to Greg if you're curious about what he's actually doing. Want to know more about his business and how you guys can work together. Thank you for tuning in and listening to my brother talk about what he's done with us. I mean, there are so many ways we've heard people using likely seller predictions, and the thing about it is when they hear it from someone who's actually done it and had success with it and has tried multiple different things, it's real. It becomes tangible. It becomes something that isn't a sales pitch or a one-liner. So please know that Greg and I do not rehearse these. I literally was like, hey, dude, texting, hey, man, come on the show. Like, tell people what you do. We've been our alpha beta guy forever. So like, just the good, bad, and ugly, man. Just come on and try not to have your face be too ugly.
Hey, you're talking about doggo face down there that's sleeping.
Oh yeah, the dog. Yep. Well, Pups is getting some shut eye. So, hey man, thanks for joining, dude. I really appreciate it. I'd love to. I know that you're starting a couple of those new initiatives. Maybe we'll have you circle back on another client spotlight a couple months down the road and hear how those are going. Because the more creative people are with what we have, the more it makes the Likely AI team energetic and excited to try new things. And so they love hearing the stories. And I appreciate you sharing them with all of our clients.
Hey, man, if you want to get weird, you know where to find me. And
Austin, Texas. Keeping it weird, baby.
Weird, baby.
All right, brother. Talk to you later.
Like.